Hello YouTube, Tim here with a bow that you've seen before. You remember that Schedule 80 adult recurve that I made many months ago? Here it stands, or here it is anyway. I chopped off the ends and I modified it a little bit. I wanted to see now if it could be drawn. So I need to first get the string off so I can put the string on. There we go. The issue is mostly how the inserted 1.5 to 2 inches is going to affect the rigidity of the ends, and if that's going to pose a problem, because we don't want to reduce the flexibility of the outer limb so much that the inner limb is stressed. Now this is kind of cool. It's a little fussy just due to the size of the knot. If I were using a more conventional string, this would be less of an issue. But take a look at this. I grooved the siyah, so the string just rests right in the groove. Rather than a string bridge, this allows me to use a much slighter siyah. And I know I could take them down and thin them out even farther. I plan on doing so, but for the moment, this will suffice. Let's go ahead now and see exactly what it draws. Before, if I recall correctly, it was about 65 pounds at 28 inches. So, first brace height is almost perfectly 7 inches. Let's hook that up. Now, I'm going to be testing not only if it will explode or not, so I'm going to be taking it slowly, but also we can try and draw out a forced draw curve, or at least I'll gather the data so that in the future, if I'd like to, it's doable. So right now, 0 pounds at 7 inches. So the first draw will be to 9 inches. 11.2 pounds. Now to 11 inches. 18.65 pounds. 13. 25.8 pounds. I really wish I could get this other knot to rest a little bit differently. I don't expect it to be a problem, I just don't want it to unstring itself. Now where was that? 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 I think. That sounds right. 15 inches, 32.5 pounds. 17. 39 pounds. Make sure this is nice and centered. I don't want to cause any problem, anything that could cause this to fail. Now we're at 19 inches as measured from the belly of the bow. Ooh, I don't like those noises. I'm measuring 44.4 pounds. And there's not so much something as this very slight wood noise. It's making me a little nervous. Okay, let's draw it to a full 20 inches now. $47.5 pounds. 40, let's call it 47 pounds. $22 inches. $52.3. Okay. Let me give it a second. I'm going to take this off and try and adjust this string just a little bit. You can see it's not riding perfectly because of this big fat knot there. So I'm going to try and adjust it just a touch. There we go. That's near perfection. That'll minimize any problems that we could be having. We're perfectly centered again and ready to go. Resuming. I will tear it once more just to make sure. Okay, now 24 is where we left off. Or, no, 22. So now 24 is the next goal. $56.6. Of notice is that the white pipe, after I pulled it for a second or so, it would increase in draw weight, and then it would start to go down. Just for a second, and I judged that that was simply the scale here catching up, so to speak. I think in this case, I'm noticing it go down almost immediately. The gray pipe, as Nick said, it takes a set. It's a little less resilient maybe, but very, very powerful. So, still. Now we've done 24. I feel like taking the last 4 inches nice and slowly. So 25 now. Did you hear that?
Just ever so slowly.
I heard shearing, and I think that was the glue failing. Let me go take a look at the bow. Remarkably, the bow is in perfect condition. What failed was the plywood. That is very disappointing, because this plywood was fairly thick there. That's not encouraging. I'm not pleased with that. Its companion piece seems to have done just fine and survived just fine. But, alas, this experiment was doomed to fail. I'll have to find a better piece of wood, and I think I should laminate them myself from now on if I really want to make good laminate siyahs. I see no reason to continue using these inferior pieces of birch unless it's under very controlled circumstances. Using them for 3-inch long, say 3-inch long siyahs on an Ottoman Turkish bow, this was approximately 4.5 inches exposed. So I understand it was under a lot of force and probably could have stood to have been a little bit thicker. So there's room for improvement in this. I'm very pleased the bow wasn't the part to fail. You could hear it. You could just hear the fibers starting to give, and I just wanted to hold it there at 25 inches to see what would happen, and kaboom! You know, sometimes that's what you get. Kaboom. Today is a kaboom day. We still have a beautiful core, totally functional to work with. I really want to make this work because we cut off nearly, a half pound of PVC material. This is a lot. So we should expect some better performance out of this bow. And I'm looking very, very forward to round 2. I will be back, Mr. Bow, and I will conquer. Thanks for watching, YouTube.